Hi everyone, welcome back to our newest episode of the Journeys podcast series, where we take a look into our incredible community members here at Anaplan. Today I am joined by someone who I actually have known for a while now, Stacey Gibbens. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good to see you. When I was getting prepared to sit down to talk to you, I was thinking, you were one of the first folks that I met at Anaplan. We were working on an event together, and I remember being blown away by two things. One, you're so darn nice and approachable. You got a great sense of humor. I know you think you're spicy. And then two, your knowledge. I mean, you know Anaplan, and that's where I want to start. I want to know, when did you first get involved with Anaplan? Let's go all the way back.
All right, well, my first exposure, well, I should say the reason that I had the first exposure was because I was bored. I started work at Simon Property Group in the IT department, systems analyst, financial systems analyst, and my job was to manage the Hyperion Financial Management application. That was the consolidation engine for their corporate reporting. And I had some extra time on my hands. And I was looking around. I'm like, what are you doing? You doing something I can help with? And I went to my manager and I said, hey, they're starting this new project to implement Hyperion planning. You care if I work on it? And he looks at me and he's like, fine, just don't let it impact your normal duties. Okay, that's reasonable. Got to keep up with the normal stuff, but I need more to do, so let's do it. As the project progressed, we ended up with a proof of concept of Hyperion planning in the cloud, but no licenses had been purchased. That's like one of the things that the CTO was really big on, is not paying for anything unless it was absolutely necessary. Mm-hmm. So the proof of concept, we had this book of requirements this thick, I'm not joking. The requirements had been worked on for years. Yeah. And then finally they pulled the trigger, Hyperion planning. We're working on it, we've got this, we have consultants, we've got it in the cloud. We're about to start bringing it in-house, buying servers and getting that all stood up, right? The CTO goes to a conference and sees Anaplan, and he's blown away.
Sure.
And he comes back and he's like, I think we might be making a mistake. It's worth investigating. I know we've had sunk costs, look at the concept of sunk costs. I know that we've already spent this money. However, the long-term benefit of going with Anaplan is likely to outweigh what we've already spent. Wow. Yeah. So, hard pivot, and it's like, okay, well, we can do this instead. And we started with Anaplan.
Yeah.
The team, we were divvying up the work, and people were like, well, I'll take this part, I'll take this part, and we were just chopping it up. And nobody wanted to do the security. Yeah. It was deemed unsexy.
Security often is.
Well, but it's actually one of the more critical pieces.
Of course it is. Exactly.
Especially when you have 1,200 people that are going to be accessing the system, correct, all with selective access. We've got multiple models, and that information needed to be sourced from our ERP, system of record, because that was where it was all maintained. So with the help of some Anaplan folks, I built this model that was basically a security hub that allowed the system to ingest these predefined selective access roles, assign them to people with the functional roles, and push them out to the spoke models on a nightly basis, but didn't require any workspace admin requirements for the people doing the work. Our help desk handled everything. And so Anaplan itself, the people, they thought that the solution was so novel and so useful that they asked if I wanted to come and present it in the 2019 at the Anaplan Hub, as it was called, in Las Vegas.
Incredible. Great place to be.
And I said, really? All right. And that was like the starting point of everything. My favorite takeaway from that conference is, because you know the people that were attending my seminar, they were the super geeks. You know, you don't have the finance people in there. You don't have the marketing people. They're the super geeks. After the session was over, I was chit-chatting with someone that I'd been put in touch with, and he was like a manager at Lion Point, actually one of the co-founders of Lion Point. And he was sitting with one of his colleagues, and the colleague was just in rapture. He was like, "That's fascinating." And he was just like, "Oh, keep it down, come on." But you know, it was something that had never been developed before in the ecosystem on that large of a scale. And you know, Anaplan understood that it was a lacking piece in their functionality, and quite honestly still is. But being able to share that and allow that information to be used to make everybody's life easier. You know, that's kind of who I am. It's like, you know, let's all share the bits that we know, and that way we can all become better.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this is 2019, you're in Vegas, you present, everybody's loving it, you're nerding out, they're nerding out, everyone's feeling great.
Yeah.
What happens next? Where do you go from there?
Well,
what happened next?
Well, over time, I inherited and grew upon the Anaplan Connect integration kind of concept. I didn't do the original build, but I took ownership of the build and then had to redevelop it over time when requirements changed for optimization purposes. There was a new version of Anaplan Connect that required a CA certificate. There were things. And I kind of became an expert in that, and ended up with a lot of really good feedback around kind of the things that I knew that was managing such a large implementation that was running hundreds of integration actions every night, from bringing in new data, the security obviously, sharing information between the spoke models, getting it into a consolidated model, and then back out into the data warehouse for consumption by our ERP, and then on to HFM again, which again, I was the owner of. So it was like there was this big circle, and I became the IT owner of that. And it grew over time, right? Because more use cases and all the things. I like to say that Anaplan is kind of like English ivy. Not poison ivy.
No, let's
English,
be very clear.
English ivy. So the first year, we didn't get a whole lot of positive feedback, because you know, the first year after you implement something, there's bumps, you learn, you understand what you might have done wrong. There are these little mishaps that you find out and you're like, oh, that's what happens when that happens. Okay, let's avoid that going forward. You know, so there were things, but there's a trust issue, and you over time you get the trust issue. So the first year, Anaplan sleeps. The next year, it creeps. People start to get it, they get used to it, they're in it, they start trusting the data. They're like, wow, this is actually reliable. Wow, we can actually do this. Wow, we can have these kinds of additional pieces of functionality, and you know, we like this. And it spreads. The third year, it leaps. And you start getting overwhelmed with, we want, it's a hard pull. We want this for ourselves. We want this data. We could do so much more if. So I've been able to kind of start out with the Anaplan as a startup company, very immature, and watch it grow with actually some hard pushing from our CTO to make Anaplan better, because there were things that were lacking, but made the application better for the whole ecosystem. And I'm kind of proud to have played what little part I had in it.
It's incredible. And one of the things that I was blown away when we first met, Certified Master Anaplanner, right? I mean, obviously, as we're talking here, you've built out these, you know this stuff. Talk to me about like sort of the process of being a CMA and taking that exam, and where your head was at as you were kind of going into it.
Well, I did that because the CTO wanted some master Anaplanners in the IT department. It's just like, okay,
you got it.
You got it. It's like, I'm going to be more valuable to you if I am a certified master Anaplanner, then I will put in the extra effort. Yep. And so the initial year was before the whole requirements were revamped.
Yep.
So I did all my studying and I got prepared and I came to the conference and I took the exam, and afterwards I got my little certificate and my jacket. And I'm like, whoo. But then the year after, when COVID hit, they were in the process of redoing all of the trainings. And in order to maintain your Certified Master Anaplanner status, you had to take all of the trainings and pass everything, which honestly was really good. Because the training was so much better than the first time around. But it was challenging. And that level 3, man, that will kick your ass. But it was really worth it because I got better. I mean, the building part was the part that I was the weakest in. Mm. And, you know, being forced to relearn, you know, not relearn, but to learn better, was actually quite useful. And then there's, of course, the giving back aspect. Right. And you have to have this kind of interactivity, and you have to, contribute to the ecosystem. And you're just like, okay. But, when you are creating content or you are prepping for some kind of engagement, that also forces you to learn. It not only benefits me by learning and going through, because you're planning, what am I going to write about? What am I going to give to someone that will actually make their day easier? How can I present this? What topic? What aspects? Mm-hmm. And by doing that, I have to go in and say, because Anaplan is always changing, is the information that I think I know actually the current information? And I've learned things. I'm like, oh, hey, they actually fixed this. Yeah. So, that's a good part. That's a good part. I also get the opportunity to network with other master Anaplanners. Mm-hmm. If I have a modeling problem, I've got a team of people that I can say, hey, have you ever seen this before? What would you do? Yeah. And because that's kind of part of the mindset of the community, people are like, yeah, call me up.
Absolutely.
It's really one of the most generous groups. I think probably, I don't know why. I'm not even going to venture, but people are generous with themselves, with other people for their time.
Absolutely. I see that time and time again. And every time I'm sitting down chatting with a CMA, I feel that same, I would almost say warmth, to your point. Like, I don't know what that is, but to me, there's an openness to helping others.
Sure.
I think everybody kind of knows how complex, difficult, and ever-changing it is. Talk to me a little bit about maybe some folks who maybe might have mentored you. Maybe you could talk a little bit about community as a whole. I'd love to hear just like a little bit more there, just digging in deeper, yeah.
One of the people that helped me a lot, I ended up actually working with her, Inas Ibrahim.
Yeah.
She is at Slalom, I think now, right now. And when I was going through my level 3, I was just pounding my head with one of these things, and I posted. And she and I had some conversations back and forth. And then I met her in person when we were working at the same consulting firm. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy crap, hello. And we became good friends.
Nice.
And then she left, and I was like, oh, very sad. But, you know, Inas kind of embodies the excitement and the teaching and the, I want to see you succeed, because that makes me feel that I've done my job well, even if I'm not being paid for that job. But I get, you know, my own satisfaction from that.
I love that. Stacey, what's on the horizon? What are you looking forward to over the next, like, I don't know, 12, 18 months? What are you thinking?
Well, I have recently joined the Globe Life Insurance Company, yeah. And I am really excited to create and grow a center of excellence.
Yes.
And the team has faced quite a few challenges simply because they all have day jobs. Yeah. So 4 or 5 people that are in the finance FP&A team doing expense planning, and they have day jobs. I mean, their responsibility is the FP&A. However, they also, their secondary day job is to use the models, manage the models, additional functionality in the models, mm-hmm. maintain the models. And I understand their stress, because they've got these other things going on. They're like, well, we don't have time to do any more than this, and I'm already busy. Yeah. And so I've been able to help them bring a little bit more calm to their lives, a little bit more ease of use, helping them through, you know, sticking points and break fix, and hey, we want to do this thing. Do you think we can? And I'm really hoping that in the near future I'll be able to have a head count of my own, and we can expand the use case out, because we do have, as an insurance company, salespeople.
Sure.
And I would love to do sales headcount planning. And I think that would be a really easy win with the company, because it's such an enormous part of their organization.
Incredible. Stacey, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. I always enjoy talking to you. I love your energy. I love your knowledge. Appreciate you taking the time. Folks, thank you again. And you know what? You can always swing by community.anaplan.com for all of your Anaplan needs. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much.
See you guys.